All right, shalom, shalom. This brother Yatazadak, hero Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Mekakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. We're going to go into in the news. This is June 15, 2023. The year of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the prophecies being fulfilled, like Elder Apostle Tahar says. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Mekakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. So let's get the headlines, get right into it, right? This is from Gabar Yashra'Allah, Foreigner. Says the Lord deleted some moles, burnt church down with them in it, right? So this is highlighting a Moism that were ceremonially right brought together in Boston, right, which the Lord judged that place, right. This is in Boston. Let's just check it out. Right. Scrolling down, we go to the days of Noah. This is from End Time Headlines. It says synthetic human embryos have just been created in a lab with no egg or sperm. Another step to remove the need of human procreation. Right. So this is what E, the mad scientist, is cooking up. Right, in these last days. Right, you have many devices coming to the world. You have, right, dissension. You have a cold spirit that the Lord has placed on the people in America, Babylon the Great. Right, the love of many waxing cold. Right, and our hope is in, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right, that we are still able to preach His word until, right, the appointed time. Right. So these are the things that we're bringing out as watchmen of the Lord, right? This is a Babylon Bee. It says Marlboro adds puberty blockers to cigarettes to make them legal for kids, right? Salakia. This is from the Illuminati bot. Hollywood actress Megan Fox threatens to use cannibalism and witchcraft to kill conservatives. Right, so this is the right, these celebrities, the type of shine they want, right? They're all crying for attention, right? But the Lord is not hearing, right, their voice, because the Lord is not with them, right? The Lord is what casting down these other philosophies and these celebrities, right? Like it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, right? The noise of the vow is vile, as in the violin is brought low, right? And Isaiah chapter 14 says that right, let's get that real quick, Slakia. This is Isaiah chapter 14, and Let's give verse Isaiah 14 and 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy viols, as in the music of America Babylon the Great. When now you have, right, the remnant, which are the hopeful elect, singing the new song, which is what? Prophesying on highways and byways, through the power of the Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash, right? The Rakakwadash is the Holy Spirit, right, which gives us the divine inspiration, right, to prophesy. But on the left-hand side, you have what? You have these other philosophies which are compared unto seducing spirits, right? Doctrines of devils, right? You have the Lord, right, is putting in the spirit of these heathens, right, to use all the means that they can, right? Seeking unto the charmers, seeking unto familiar spirits, coming up with schemes, right? Satan looking for that moment, right, to catch you off guard, right, to sift you out, right? But the Lord said that the least grain shall not fall onto the earth, right? Meaning the elect, if you're of the elect, chosen from the foundation of the world, right? The Lord is going to preserve you some way, somehow, right? But you got to keep in mind, it says in Jeremiah chapter 30, right? We're going to go through particular infirmities, right? There's going to be persecution. You'll be hated of all nations, right? So you got to keep that in mind, right? Because you have other camps saying that, right, it's all sweet, right? Jacob's trouble is gay, like IUIC Bishop Nathaniel has said before, which he went back on that, right? He said there wasn't a Jacob's trouble, but now later on he admitted that there was, just like the charagma, right? So these are the things that you got to keeping up with the times, and knowing that the Lord, right, is right on the left hand side, right. There are certain spirits that are being pushed out, whether it be through mass media, right, through pop culture, right. You have, right, you have these spirits out there, right? The spirit of rebellion, right? You have, right, particular scoffers, right? You got brothers coming up to camps, right, whispering and being demons, right? You got demons being sent out, right, on particular brothers, right, to vex them. You got, right, um, right. Of course, we can't forget about the warlocks, the the witches, right? You, of course, you're going to deal with these things because, right, Scripture says that what he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey, but we trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? So our job is to what? Endure and hardness as soldiers of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, right? Which our main job is to what? Endure and preach His word and watch, right? Watch what is happening, right? And discern the times that we're in, right? So this is what you have: just the nations bugging out, 2/3 bugging out, right? Um, you have, right, those that are in this truth, right? They're gonna understand, right, particular signs, particular, right, left hand um left hand devices, right? But these things should strengthen you, right? And right, they should build up your faith, right? But as it says in Isaiah chapter 14, the vial is being brought low, which is just that song, right? That deceitful song that Esau pushes mainly, and the nations as well, right? Which is lies, confusion, right? Which is why America Babylon the Great is called a Babylon, because Babylon means confusion, right? The pomp is brought low, right? The nations know that something is going to go down, right? You see lights everywhere. You see bright lights and shit all over the streets. You see a particular building shut down, Walmart or whatever, right? These places are going to be right used for internment camps, right? And it's not a secret, right? The truth is out, right? And that left hand song no longer has an effect. People are not hypnotized by it because they were what? They committed fornication with the whore because of the prosperity that it offered. But now, right, the Lord is even dividing Satan among Satan, right? So as you see, right, particular store closing, you see, right, the word the word going out, right? So worms are covering Esau, Edom, and the nations, right? Which is why, right, in the book of Daniel, right, that image, the feet was clay mixed with iron, right, which doesn't mix, right, which just talks about that confederacy that will not last, right? Esau will be divided against Esau, right? The nations against Esau, Esau against the nations, right? And right, who can but prophesy, right? So these are the things that are happening. That left hand song is exposed, right? The lies of the wicked, right? So it says this is a video on I Love Yeshua, which says all you Trump supporters making him out to be a hero or some savior are not paying attention. Right? Let's just look at the video, see what it.
Whatever happens, Hillary Clinton.
I didn't really check it out, but
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action.
So this is what Trump is eventually doing, right? He's gonna rile up, right, the good old boys, right, which are these old school Edomites, right, the gun toters, right, and right, eventually they're gonna be stirred up as well, which they're already being stirred up. Everyone is being stirred up, right? There's confusion, uncertainty, right? You don't know what's what, right? But we know through the Spirit that the Lord is working in the earth, right? So let's keep watching.
It's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Number 9.
Land, sea, and air, right? Which is what China's doing as well, right? Paying their countrymen to what? Bring these communication cables up to places like Mount Everest, right? Because why? They're working with Esau, Edom, right? Let's keep watching.
We will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all...
And it hasn't been completed. Why? Because that's what the Lord wants, right? Now, at the end of the day, Esau is going to get the upper hand because he controls everything, right? He controls what you eat. He controls, right, the vehicles that you purchase, right? Because you don't have, well, you have particular countries, right, like China making Mazdas and whatnot, but people don't understand the Esau is behind China, just like the UAE. Esau is behind that. His people are there, just like in South America. His people are there, but they are called under different names, like Spaniard, right? Just like the Amalekites, right? They're everywhere, right? Now some of them are our people, the small hats, but right, the others are Edomites, right? So this is the issue, right? That the Lord is working, right? But most of our people don't understand how to discern not only the times, but right, know how to discern what is going on, right? So let's look at this clips that go hard, right? This is an Elamite. Now it doesn't show her eating the dung, but she's grabbing cow's dung. It says a Hindu woman eating cow dung as they worship cows and consider them their god. I believe they just consider them sacred, like the Egyptians, right? There's scripture on that, but I'm not going to go over that. I went over that before. Right, I never clicked on this, so let's look at it.
আমাকে করতেই হবে। খুব সুন্দর। So guys, কিছু করার নেই। এটা কারণ এটা আমি মানত করেছিলাম, তার জন্য এটা আমাকে করতেই হবে। এবার আমি গোবরটা নেব, গোবরটা নিয়ে এই সাইডটায় রাখবো। আর দেখো বিরিয়ানিটা দেখো সেই টেস্টি, মানে সেই গন্ধ বেরোচ্ছে। আর গোবরটা কিচ্ছু করার নেই গাইস, তার জন্য আমাদেরকে খেতে হবে, কারণ গরু আমাদের লক্ষ্মী আর গরুর সমস্ত জিনিসই আমাদের কাছে পবিত্র, তার জন্য গোবরটাও পবিত্র। আর এদিকে দেখো মাংসটাও দিয়েছে পুরো একদম সলিড। এই মাংসটা আমার খুব ভালো লাগে খেতে। তো এখন এটাকে আমি মিক্সড করি, দিয়ে তারপরে আমি খাবো। মানে জিভ থেকে জল বেরিয়ে যাচ্ছে, কখন খাবো তাই ভাবছি। আর গাইস,
he got all kind of spirits on him, and right, that's because he's not right keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Right, he's defiling this temple, right? Because that's what these other nations do. They do that. They go to different extremities, right, to seek right particular right spirits, right, and right, because everything has a vibe to it. Everything carries a vibe. Everything, right, just like the Hamites, right? They right drink blood and all that. All these things have a vibe and have a right that comes with it, right? A vibration, right? This is daily Roman updates. I told the lady at work about this account, and she sent me this for your little page. Right, so we're in the days of Noah again, right? The nations, they're bugged out. Right. Esau Edom wants to make humans without embryos, right? And this is about Sumer, which is Shinar. Because I said in a previous video that Shinar is Acadia, but it's actually I didn't mention that. I put that on one of the comments on the Apostles video. But Sumer is Shinar. Acadia is the city of called Akkad in Genesis, right? So let me correct that. I didn't say that on one of my videos, but I did comment that on the Apostles video. Right, so they invented clay. They talked about wheat, right? Just something I clicked on. This is another headline: mass stabbing in Nottingham, UK. 3 victims have been stabbed to death by an illegal from West Africa. Because ultimately, these are things that are being pushed to the forefront of the news to push what these digital records, right? To put you in a system, right, where it's not Esau. Edom is not going to put his people in that. He's going to put people that he wants to track, right? And scopeo, meaning categorize, or categoreo. It basically wants to categorize people, right? Mainly, right, that are not for his agenda, and right, other people as well, right, because right, he's grasping on onto his power, but right, the Lord has said that his time, right, is right uh running out, right, which you can see, right, the nations being stirred up, right. This is Eva Vala Ardinger Berek. This is from France. That's a France flag. It says on average, 2 churches get targeted, destroyed every week in France. 1 mosque is erected every 15 days in France, while 1 Christian building is destroyed at the same pace, said the president of the Observatory of Religious Heritage. So this is about the Saint Gabriel Church in Paris on fire yesterday. Now, we're not necessarily highlighting the Islamic faith in this. This is about the churches. A church in Paris being set on fire, which is not a coincidence, right? Because you have, like I brought out on the top of the news feed, that another church in Boston was burnt down, right? Let's watch this video.
At Marshall Simons Middle School. Displays of intolerance and homophobia are unacceptable.
This type of intolerant rhetoric starts in the home.
So it says Burlington hosts town meeting after middle school's pride decorations were destroyed.
Parents angry at town hall over intolerance at Marshall Simons Middle School. Kids were asked to wear rainbow clothes in honor of Pride Spirit Day, but some organized a counter-protest wearing red, white, and blue or black. The principal sharing a statement to families that Pride posters were ripped down, stickers ripped up. Some students chanted "USA are my pronouns," and students showing pride were intimidated.
It was an unruly disruption, in fact, that was organized ahead of.
This is really Esau Edom. I can't even say at this point what he's trying to do, because he's just delusional, because he's trying to confuse the younger Jakes while telling his people, his children, that it's just for play, right? And I'm speaking as a man, but right, that's all what this is. This is targeting Jake at the end of the day, right? Now it's not about race, right? Because our people are mingled amongst these other nations, as you can see, right? It's not about skin color. It's about the patrimonial lineage, as in the lineage of your father, right? Which of course Esau knows which people are his for the most part, because right, they've been they're the ones who I'm not going to say settled, but right, they settled down after they took the land, right, by their own means, right, which the Lord gave them that power. But right, this is really a psyop against Jake, right, to push Moism on the children, right, on our children.
While some parents were upset, others say it was over.
But you got Esau, right, the common Edomite, right, which Esau doesn't give a damn about his people as well, right, rebelling as well, right. So you got the common Edomite, right, rebelling because they really don't understand, right. They're dumbed down just like the other nations, just like Jake in the society, right, which is what it's just, you got other Edomites just lost in the sauce, right? Or they know that something's happening, but they don't understand how to deal with it, right? Because you Edomites, they can't just go around telling each other to do this and to do that, or to act a certain way, because the world is watching, right? So you got certain Edomites that are going to get caught up and rebel against these psyops, right? And they're really, right, they're just they're supposed to, right? Because Esau's proud, right? So his own people are going to rebel because they even go against their own people, if you can understand, right? Which is what you have in Ukraine. You have Edomite fighting against Edomite, right?
Some of the kids threw the stickers on the ground, but I can only speak for my daughter.
Because they're a proud people, right? The Lord made them that way, right?
She didn't want to wear that to school. It's not that she wanted to hurt anybody's feelings.
She says her daughter felt coerced to participate in the Pride event and was offended by some of the messages, like this quote from Tennessee Williams.
Human heart cannot be straight. It is curves and winds. And my daughter just kind of said, Mom, that's offensive to me, who I am straight.
Right? So this is what's happening, right? Because you're gonna have certain Edomites that are not gonna take the charagma, right? But they're ultimately they're gonna die, right? A famine, right? You're gonna have other Edomites, other Jakes take the charagma. Then you're gonna have other Jakes that don't take the charagma. You're gonna have other Edomites that don't take the charagma. And they're gonna spoil those that took the charagma because they're gonna need something that. Right, they're going to need lack of. This is where the lack of bread, lack of water is going to come in the book of Second Esdras, right? When all hell breaks loose, right, you're going to have the remnant, the elect, also, right? We're going to be as pilgrims upon the earth, meaning that when all these things are happening, right? We're not going to be sitting in the houses waiting for the Lord to beam us up, right? We're going to be we're going to be out and about trying to get the hell away from the 2/3, right? Because 2/3 are going to take the charagma, right? But the Lord is going to make it to where 2/3 are going to wait it out. They're going to wait it out, and right before, right, the missiles come, they're going to give in, but they're going to rebel, right? But you're going to have certain 2/3 that are going to take it right away. Boom, boom. You're going to have certain Edomites. Boom, they're going to take it. They're going to comply. The other nations, they're going to comply, right? You're going to have other nations not take it. They're going to be spoiling those of the other nations that take the charagma, those of the Edomites that take the charagma, those of the 2/3 that take the charagma. And in the middle of all that, you're going to have the remnant as pilgrims in the earth, right? So this is what's going to happen. Right? Just to paint a proper picture, Jeremiah 30:1 says what? Thy wound is grievous, right? Let's get that, right? So this is what's going to happen, right? The Spirit of the Lord. And of course, you're going to have those that, right, are going to be put to death before all that happens, right? But we have to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is Jeremiah chapter 30. Salakia. And of course, you're gonna have what? All hell breaking loose, FEMA camps, martial law, right? Jeremiah 30:1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, "Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book." For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, which starts with the remnant waking up. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave unto their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Right, so we're not hearing peace. We're not hearing consolation in the world. We're hearing division, fear, wars, rumors of wars, right? A voice of trembling. Ask Jeremiah 30:6, ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child, which that's spiritual, because you got, right, Esau, Edom pushing, right, these men that are having, right, false pregnancies. But this is really talking about the tribulation that is coming upon the earth, which is here already, but it's going to increase. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so none is like it. It is even a time as Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right? Jeremiah 30:12, for thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. Right, we're just talking about 2/3 and the remnant, right? Because we're going to go through certain infirmities, right? So the Lord is going to have to intervene, right? Verse 14, all thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not. For I wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Right? Which is the Crown Royale 7, the Crown Royale 19, and these various other devices, right? Which we're gonna go over, right? So this is what you have, right? These the nations being stirred up, right? Giving out their last battle cry, right? You have, right? But the Lord said in the book of 2 Esdras, believe not the gods on whom the Lord spake, right? Your God is supposed to be this word, right? The precepts, the prophecies, the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's scroll down. Rap House TV, for the first time in 30 years, no album or single has hit. Number 1 in 2023. Right? These rappers are getting lazy, and the Lord is getting rid of them too. This is Truth Seeker, World Economic Forum, calls for AI to rewrite Bible, create religions that are actually correct, right? This is from Ra Israel, different ways to pray, right? Which I can verify that you can pray while standing. Mark 11:25 definitely says that. You pray with your hands up. You can verify that via these precepts on the bottom. Kneeling, bowing down is I can verify I can vouch for that. As far as sitting, walking, right? I have to look into those precepts. Prostrating, it just means to bow down, right? But many people don't know that you can actually pray while standing. It says in Mark 11:25. So that's just something to check out. This is from Truth Seeker. Thousands of dead fish washed up on a Texas Gulf Coast beach this week, blanketing the shore. Right, and we know Esau Edom has all types of oil refineries down there, so right, might be another spill or could be a chemical spill, right? Isaiah, this is from Daniel, Isaiah 29:6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. It says, blown away, several people lifted into the air. Which is Mothership, that's a restaurant, I believe, because that's the handle of that TikTok. This is more so common sense, right? You have a tent, especially one as big as that, you put some cement blocks or, right, something, right? So that's careless on their part, right? So they deserve that. This is Ra Israel, Bible prophecy for Native Americans. Psalms 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were with drawn swords. Talking about Esau Edom, right? Treating the Gadites. If you're paying attention, some of these look like Northern Kingdom, right? Because they're sort of mixed in with the Gadites, right? Now this is a good one. Daily Loud. Footage from the backyard of Las Vegas UFO crash and alleged alien encounter for May 1st, 2023.
Ahora me que cantes París le gajengue a la chorsi hora. Sosi. Ay, profesor. Calmungarela me cansiles variso. Kailo, cherro que chili. Kailo, cherro. Kailo.
Now these sound like Northern Kingdom, but they're speaking like a certain dialect, right? Just so you don't think they're like Elamites or anything like that. Because you can kind of tell because they sound like Native Americans, right? When they speak particular dialects, right? You have the hard R's, you have the K's and the, right?
Chili cow. Ahora me que cantes París le gajengue a la chorsi hora. Sosi. Ay, profesor. Calmungarela me cansiles variso. Kailo, cherro que chili. Kailo, cherro. Kailo.
And they're kind of fresh, so you know that's Jake. You know Jake likes to wear his button downs, right? Or not Jake, but Northern Kingdom, right? For construction.
Chili cow. Chili cow. Kai, cherro. Sale.
Well, they might be Elamites because, I mean, they kind of look similar and, right, they talk weird too.
Kai,
That this is Northern Kingdom. They might be speaking a certain dialect.
Diles, ahí te los vamos saliendo para acá.
Kai.
Anda el camión, los conchaditos del camión. Era segundo, de que para acá, de cables.
Kai, cherro, chili cow, la del.
Anda, el concho cotelo.
Yeah, it's a little bit of Spanish in there. There's a lot of K's in these Northern Kingdoms.
Kai, forklift o camión.
So apparently there's an entity in that crane, and behind it, standing behind it.
Dile que a casa del hombre indique. Viene un chavo, o sea, picocharico se ha dado. Vaya, me dígale completico.
It's kind of choppy, chopped up.
Dile que acá callale, ahí yo muy pelón, marrón pelón. Encharon a dos, dijeron de di. Concha, que la de que chujaba.
Segundo.
This is a Las Vegas UFO crash. This is 60,000 bottles worth of wine burst from a broken tank in Villa Malaya, Spain, right? Which you know that this is what the great bloodshed signifies in the Book of Revelation, right? There's gonna be wine spilt so many furlongs, right, up to the horse's bridle. So this is what you're going to see in the destruction and the third woe, right? You're just going to see rivers and mountains and, right, waters being turned into blood, right? Because you're going to have nukes, you're going to have, right, tomahawks just everywhere, boom, boom, right? Fire often being sent out, like it says in the Book of 2nd Esdras. The righteous scarcely being saved, right? because the Lord is going to put that demonic spirit on Esau Edom, right? When you know you have, right, when you put against the wall, you have no no option but to react, right? So Esau Edom, this is what he's going to do. He's going to react. Well, he's already doing it because he knew this day was coming, right? And the other nations, and Jake is going to be caught in the middle of all this, right? You're gonna have certain Jake that they may escape, right? The Coast Guard troops, and they're gonna find somebody and they're gonna say Jesus Christ is in here, right? They're gonna be dressed as chorus boys, right? Or they may be dressed like, okay, we found a safe house. Follow us. We didn't take the Charagma, right? We have raiment. We have food. We are the resistance, and they're not going to understand that the Lord said, "Go not with them," right? So they're going to go, and then they're going to be right diced up and grilled, and right, the Lord is going to give them into the hand of the wicked, because they didn't hear in the words of the servants, the prophets, while they were here, right? Because in that day, Lord willing, if we're of the elect, right, that are able to see that day, right? Because some of the elect will be put to death, right, before all hell breaks loose. But if we live to see that day, then the Lord is going to hide us some way, somehow, right? So Home Depot, right? You have that controversy with the female, and right, she was dressed modestly. She worked at Home Depot, and then you have other Eves saying, right, well, I make this and I make that, and I make more money than you. I look better. So that's a psyop in itself, right? A modest Eve versus the radicalized Eve. It is from Xinjiang City, Henan Province, China. By law, household knives must be changed in case citizens rebel against Chinese government with these knives. Right, which they don't really need to have them chains on there, because at the end of the day, there is a surveillance system already set up, but this is a fear tactic, right? Now, you know, this is the month of the P month, right? So you see, you have Edomites, you have them subjecting their children to this spectacle, right? Which is, the Lord made you a mo, then He made you a mo, right? Really nothing you can do about that, right? You could be a Jake, you could be an Edomite. The Lord made you a mo, you're going to be destroyed. Now, do we go out and, right, grab them? And no, we don't, right? We just know they're going to be destroyed for their, right, foolishness, right? Look at this. One's got a right beard and madness, right? You have that looks like a Moabite, right, throwing up the W, right? It's from End Wokeness. The West has fallen, right? And I seen another picture where they had the Nazi the old Germany, and the same city square or something resembling it, right? But you know something, you know when something is being pushed on you, right? This is from Jack Straw. Do we remember this? 30 tons of explosive chemical lost during rail shipment, officials say. And we had that controversy with that smoke coming from Canada, right? Me, I live on the East Coast, so I got to see that red sun, or Salakia, the red moon, right? And that cloudiness, right? Here's a little insight
of my town. Okay, friends, so I live in a town that is about 5 hours north of New York City. Canada is about 2.5 hours north of my town. New York City is covered in a yellow cloud of smog, and they're telling us that it is from the wildfires in Canada. But that yellow cloud of smog never passed over my house, and it would have had to get to New York City. I also want to ask you this question. What color does ammonium nitrate burn? Just saying.
Now, we don't know exactly what happened, right? Could have been, right, somebody could have set off, could have been a chemical attack, could have been, right, something in Canada, could have been a terror attack. We don't know, right? Could have been, right, whatever the case may have been, it had a purpose. Maybe Edom was sending a warning, Russia, or, right, we don't know yet. Our job is to watch, right, because this is implying that it might have been, right, an explosive chemical lost during rail shipment, and you can look it up. What she said, rewind the video, right? This is from Song Pingank. Now China's electric vehicle owners must give out their identification to the authorities, get their faces scanned, or they can't use navigation, listen to audio music and more. If you are being blacklisted by social credit system, you will be locked out of your car. Right? So Salakia. Salakia. So now we have Salakia. All right. Now let's move on. This is from that same user, $14 a day to carry the transmission power lines for China's Mount Everest power station. Soon there will be facial recognition cameras at Mount Everest, and you can go live on TikTok with 5G too. Right? And that's courtesy of the Chinese Communist Party, right? See what else we got. this one is not that good, but I'll click on it anyways, so you can.
In Revelations 2:13, it says, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. So where was Antipas slain? And when you look it up, it takes us here. And when you Google where Antipas was martyred, it brings you to Geneva, Switzerland. It says the traditional account goes on to say Antipas was martyred during the reign of Nero by burning in a brazen bull-shaped altar at the Apolline Temple in Geneva, Switzerland. And that, of course, got me to wondering, what exactly is in Geneva? Let's take a look. The CERN Hadron Collider, for one, where they're trying to discover and replicate the Big Bang. And of course,
now I may be wrong, but Pergamos may, I believe that's let's just look that up.
if I
Gotta know what the hell's going on. Slovakia. So that is false because Pergamos is in modern day Turkey. Right, so you gotta keep an eye out for these false prophets. Alright, so let's see what this idiot.
I was the devil, Satan's throne is. In Revelations 2:13, it says, I know thy works and where thou
So the Lord is talking to the church in Pergamos.
dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. So where was Antipas slain? And when you look it up, it takes us here. And when you Google where Antipas was martyred, it brings you to Geneva, Switzerland. It says the tradition.
So let's see. Let's just type it in. Is Geneva, Switzerland, and Turkey? The answer is no. Right, that just doesn't make sense. Let's watch it. Which is why you can't just follow.
Additional account goes on to say Antipas was martyred during the reign.
Any old video that you see, right? You gotta look it up and see what the hell's going on.
Of Nero by burning in a brazen bull-shaped altar at the Apolline Temple in Geneva, Switzerland. And that, of course, got me to wondering, what exactly is in Geneva? Let's take a look. The CERN Hadron Collider, for one, where they're trying to discover and replicate the Big Bang. And of course, if I was the devil and wanted control over the world, I would be sure to bring all the world organizations to where I was, such as the United Nations. I might bring along the World Health Organization as well. And I would definitely want the World Trade Organization there. And I would definitely have Gavi there, the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunizations. And you can't finance an empire without having the World Economic Forum in Geneva, Switzerland. And of course, I would have all the other organizations there. 33 international organizations. 33. Isn't there significance to that number? But I'll be honest with you, when I saw this today, it literally blew my mind. I don't even have words. But if you have eyes to see, the information is out there. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content.
And he doesn't have the eye self. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Because I just proved them wrong with a simple search. Right? This is from End Wokeness. The anti-woke correlation is growing. Says young Muslim kids stomp the pride flag as their mothers cheer them on.
Any message you'd like to send today? Alright, we're here currently at the protest. We got a bunch of young kids here with their Arab parents, and they are stomping the pride flag here at the protest. The Arab community is sending a message, I believe, to the woke that they are not accepting of this, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yes.
Those kids look like they're having fun. They don't really know any better. Not that their parents know better, but they don't know better either. Because at the end of the day, when you come to America, Babylon the Great, right, you're going to be enticed by its ways. And, right, not to point fingers, but there's nobody's doing good pious deeds here in America. I don't care who you are, right? Christian, Catholic, Muslim, right? You're still conforming to the ways of America, right? Jake and these other philosophies, right? You're still not doing what the Lord said, right? It doesn't matter who you are, right? The Lord already said what you should do, right? But the problem is it's kind of sad. Esau is holding on to his reign. These other nations are, right, coming out, but it's really like a time where it's just awkward, right? It's an awkward time to do these type of things. Because if that's what you were really against, then you would have been against it, right, earlier on, right? So this is how you know that, right, the Spirit of the Lord isn't with these other philosophies, right? The Lord already said what is good, what is bad, right? And the Lord gave away, right, not to the nations, not to the Arabs. Now, some of our people look like Arabs, but he didn't give them away. They went away from the way, right? The Lord gave the way, right, to the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Our people that may look like other nations, but the majority of our people are not, are seduced by America, Babylon the Great, just like the other nations, right? You got particular people coming from these Middle Eastern nations. They come to America. They're wearing pants. They got their ass hanging out, right? So, right, they're not doing what the Lord said, right? And this is an awkward time to even come up to come out as as if you're being righteous, because you're not, right? You're for the system, because if you're not for the system, Esau doesn't need you, right? Unless you're serving a purpose. This is all, right, to cause confusion, right? Them little kids don't know any better. Most likely they're brainwashed, right? Nobody makes you do anything, but right, but you're supposed to worship Allah, right, which is God, right? But right, we're not making anybody do anything. We're telling you what the prophecies say, and that's it, right? That's what separates us from these other philosophies. We're not telling you that that Satan's gonna poke you in the ass with a pitchfork. You're gonna burn in hell. No, we're telling you that destruction is coming, and repent if you're an Israelite, right? Because that's what the scriptures say, right? We're not here, right, to make a spectacle. We're telling you plain and clear. The prophecy says this: 2/3 of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are going to take the charagma. And you're the nations, you're done anyways, because you never did. You already went out the way. Shem, Ham, Japheth, they all went out of the way. All the three sons of Noah, right, including these other tribes that came from Shem. The only nation that kept away, right, which is through the seed line, right, through the bloodline, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, starting with the remnant, right. So nobody, right, you're not doing what the Lord said. At the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're making a spectacle, then why wasn't this happening when Obama was in office? Where were all the Muslims talking about, okay, why was Obama putting all these Mo laws, right? This is bullshit, right? This is just a show, right?
Any message you'd like to send today? Leave our kids alone. Leave your kids alone. What? Yes. Leave the kids alone, she says, ladies and gentlemen. Leave the kids alone.
Leave the kids alone, yeah. Oh man, you need to get the hell up out of this place, man. Because, right, so you got Esau, you got the nations, right? They're not right. Their kids ain't right, right? It's just it's awkward, right? Because everyone knows who they are. People know, right? If you don't know in 2023 the truth, if you don't know that you're an Edomite, you're an Elamite, that you're a Hamite, you might be a Hamite, you might be an Elamite, you might be an Arab, but you could be an Israelite. See, that is a problem. But the majority are going to go with the popular opinion, which is going to be their destruction. Which is why 2/3, the majority of our people are going to be destroyed, because they're convinced in their own mind, right? You got certain Edomites, right? You got Moabites. They're drunk off the wine of America, Babylon Great, right? They're not saying nothing, right? You Jakes are not saying nothing. You Christian evangelists, right? You go out, right? You go up to Sakara, you try to, right? Even with a low level camp, well, I'm not going to say low level because they teach the Charagma. Even with a camp like Sakari, they're going to show you what exactly is happening nowadays, right? That's the problem, right? With it just, this great whore, it just corrupts people, right? It was never supposed to be this way, right? But the Lord made it to where, right, it's like you have Esau is like the main spoiled brat. Then you have the nations, they're spoiled, and they see these shiny toys, and right now they're saying it's my toy, and Esau is saying, well, I made it, and the Lord is saying, I made you. They're not regarding the Lord saying that he made all of it, right? And we're the ones stuck in the middle because we're saying the Lord made it and he's going to unmake it. He's going to destroy it, right? So we're really, right, it's like we're crying wolf, but really the wolf is coming, right? Which Esau, the nations, they don't get it. 2/3 of our people, they don't get it, right? The remnant, they get it, but they're gonna go through hell for it, right? And we're not sugarcoating anything, right? Even the remnant, right? The scriptures say that, right? They will spoil and destroy those that fear the Lord, right? So even those that are in this truth, like these other camps are not telling you, right? Yeah, you believe in the Lord, you pray to God, right? Hell is coming, destruction is coming, right? You're not gonna pray yourself out of it unless the Lord, right, keeps a watchful eye over you in that day, right? Which that day is coming near, right? The Lord has to have grace towards you, right? And that grace has to be from the foundation of the world, right? But anyways, this is a Illuminati bot. Bill Gates plans to microdose humanity with cancer coating on all fruit and vegetables, right? So again, this is breaking news. Right now there are 437 active fires with about 250 out of control, right? This is about the Canadian wildfires, so-called. Why they believe it was all planned. This is from Songping Ank, the largest construction site in the world, building Xi Jinping City, the Zayongan, which sounds like the president's name, Xi, and Oregon, as in the president's Oregon City. Just a little thought. Every street lamp will have a facial recognition camera to watch you. Soon, 4 million people from Beijing will be forced to relocate to here by Xi Jinping. Right? This is from CEO. Whatever happens, gird your loins and be rooted in the word. No time to let fear set in. Let faith keep you grounded and move when the Spirit tells you to. Right? Very well said. Just in case you thought I was making it up, here you go. The military is getting ready to move in. Right? And like I said earlier, right? It just seems like a lot of the closures and bright lights are being set up in particular areas. Right? As if there's right, everything has to be well lit for a reason, right? Says, I got this from my friend Jack, who lives just north of Fort Stewart in Georgia. Okay, I'm getting excited. Just back from a trip to Savannah, just saw more military movement within Fort Stewart than I've seen in the past 15 years. Red flags flying too, which means that they are on their highest alert level. There was a dirt road that had tanks, just tanks, lined up for as far as you could see down there. I had about decided that there wasn't nothing at all out there in Stewart, but today, right? So you have certain, right, thoughts on how the wildfires were started, if they were even wildfires. This here says it was drones. Some say it's a weather modification program, like it says here. This is a normal. The Lord said he would darken the skies, right, before the great day coming of the Lord. The moon will be turned into blood, right? This is not normal. This is not something you see every 10 or so years, like a blood moon, right? This is not normal, okay? This is not normal. This doesn't happen every 5 years, every 10 years. That has never happened. And the rappers are they even know something's going on.
Like, what is...
This is Jim Jones.
Enough is a fuck enough. We really need to know who the really fuck is in charge out here. Like, what is going on? We started with panda weather. We got past that. Then the weather started acting funny. It's June. I still could wear Pele tonight when it get chilly. And now the shit is yellow outside. And my niggas uptown in the heights might think Jesus is smoking hookah because it's so foggy. What is this, smoke? You're gonna tell me the fire in Canada got my shit smoky out here like niggas is... Alright, you know what? Who gonna tell me where summer at? Fuck all that, bro. One of you, somebody gotta tell me where summer at, because right now this shit is not even making sense. We definitely at the end of the Bible. What did God say? Fire and hail and... Boy.
Yeah, what did God said? What did the God say? Right, which is, right, first you have the Most High God, then you have the angels, right? Like I said, right, which are the Alahayim, which is, right, the Lord controls the angels. Right, you have the angels in the spiritual realm, and then you have the Alahayim, which represents the earthly judges, which are set up to bring forth a particular, right, cause and judgment, right? So not all, right, when you read Alahayim or Mala'aka, it doesn't always mean an angel. Sometimes it means messengers, sometimes it means judges, Alahayim judges, and so on and so forth. The sons of God, right? When you read the Son of God, when we say Abba, we don't literally mean, right, that we are birth, right? God doesn't have children, but that is just a way to say a higher power, right? There are powers under the higher power, which is in the spiritual realm. We're not talking about men. Now, there are men that are called Alahayim, like in the book of Exodus, which are the judges, which is really a representation of the righteous men amongst the children of Israel. Right? Psalms 82. You are gods, but you shall die like men. Right? Which really, that represents all of Israel, but 2/3 are going to die like heathens. The elect are going to die like men, and the remnant are going to be preserved, right? Some of the remnant will be put to death as well, but that's just part of the circle of life, right? Little Lion King reference, but these rappers know what's going on too, right? This is from that controversy of the UFO landing in Vegas.
One saying they saw creatures walking around.
Our 8 News Now investigators digging into this for weeks now, and tonight, our David Charnes with the video you will only see on 8 News Now. David?
Right, Denise, sources telling 8 News Now investigators that several agencies believe something landed or crashed. Whether it was non-humans or not, it certainly scared the people living on this property. Now, before we show you that video, listen to their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes, like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
And if you read the book of Ezekiel, right, it says that they were like, their feet were as polished brass. They were terrible to look at. Throughout Scripture, you read about the angels of the Lord. They're terrible to look at. They have a resemblance like humans, meaning they have, right, 2 feet, 2 hands, right? But they're terrible to look at. Very large creatures, right?
Okay.
Well, the 8 News Now investigators obtaining video as officers then responded to the call you just heard. You'll see the officers also saw something in the sky that night, but the big question is, what was it, and is it all connected? It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro Police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
Right, so they kind of look like I said, it's hard to tell if that's Northern Kingdom or some kind of Arabs or something. I don't know. But they saw something, right? They reported it. The chariot was seen flying around that area.
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything, right?
Or it could be a psyop, right?
In your backyard, or?
They see like a big double. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
That investigation turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey, if those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So yeah, this is quite weird, Brian was saying as we're watching this story. Now, we've been in contact with the family in that video, and as you heard in that 911 call, they seem very reasonable and honestly quite scared as you heard them in the call. No, they don't seem impaired in any way, and whatever crashed by the time that police got there was gone, but sources say that there's really no dispute. Something was in their yard. Exactly what? we do not know.
I mean, it's so interesting. So, like, the Metro officer sees something, the neighbor sees something. I mean, so what could it be?
Well, we know that there are obviously a lot of military bases around this area. George Knapp covers a lot of that stuff for us on the 80s Now Investigators. We're showing you drone video from above that area. And we know, of course, Creech not far away, Nellis Air Force.
Or it could be Esau spawning one of his laboratory creations. I mean, you never know. This is why we have to watch, right? But we know that the angels are terrible. We know that the Lord can make them take the form of men or appear, right? And particular brothers, right? They've seen certain chariots, right? Up close or afar, right?
Space not far. I checked in with them. They say they are not involved at all, and we are waiting to hear from the Pentagon as well.
And you talked to these people. It seemed completely legitimate to you. And do you have any personal thoughts on maybe what it was?
Right. So it seems from talking to our sources that something happened. There was obviously some flash in the sky. A lot of people saw it that night on the night of April 30th, early in the morning on May 1st. Did that exact thing land in their yard? I don't know. But these people said they saw some SUV circling the area. Could this have been some piece of equipment that malfunctioned? Maybe they saw something and then someone came. I can't believe we're talking about this.
Right.
Someone came and retrieved it from the backyard in the SUV. We don't know. This all comes as a former high-level intelligence officer, a veteran, was on News Nation talking about how there is a program where the government collects some unidentified objects. So this might be that. We just don't know. We're going to work to find out, though.
And no substances. They were looking with clear eyes. Good.
Very interesting.
Not big buggy eyes, though.
This is really unique. Thank you, David.
Right, so the Lord is, he's visiting the earth. This is from DC Drano. NASA warns of internet apocalypse that would disable internet for months. It's just one of the videos. So another, right, prediction on what the wildfires in Canada, or who caused the wildfires in Canada. Saying a man threw a lit cigar into the woods. Insider paper says, is it doomsday? Video of wildfire smoke from George Washington Bridge, the bridge connecting New Jersey and New York. Right, so you can see this from New Jersey. Right. Maka'ala Yasha'ala. Nobody else thinks those chemical spills has anything to do with the smoke on the East Coast and not just these Canadian fires. Right, you have Antifa in Glendale, California is learning the hard way that you don't mess with the Armenians, and especially not their kids. Parents do not want their kids sexually groomed at school. It says from Shamai Ba Amataza. World Health Organization has launched Global Digital Health Certificate. Let's just see what that says.
Societies at large. While the emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic is now over, investments in digital infrastructure remain an important resource for health systems and for economies and societies at large. Like many countries, the European Union made significant investments in COVID-19 certificates to help people move around as safely as possible during the pandemic. The European Union certification system was used by all 27 EU member states and more than 50 other countries. Building on the success of the EU system, WHO is proud today to launch the Global Digital Health Certification Network. So thank you so much to European Union for the excellent certification system that you have transferred to us, and we have the chance to build on it. WHO will begin operations of the network today with the existing COVID-19 certificate as a global public good. Soon after, we will expand this infrastructure by incorporating other use, such as a digitized international certificate of vaccination, routine immunization cards, and international patient summaries.
This is from Casey Neistat. It's worse than you can imagine. Again, this is from New York. In Maryland, we did not see this, but it was still foggy. Shit looked like Gotham City. This is from Juju. Just another day in New York from Hentai Avenger. Right? This is from Northern Italy. Right? Look at this. Right? Which I recently brought out at camp. Right? The Book of Habakkuk. Right? Essentially, this is the vision that Habakkuk saw. Right? Let's get that. I believe it's chapter 2. I don't want to sound long-winded, but I really went into the news, right? Not that I have an excuse, but right, we know that the Lord is put in the spirit of the heathens to target those that are going to speak the truth, right? But right, there's no excuses in this thing, right? You gotta be steadfast, right, and endure for righteousness' sake. But this is what Habakkuk spoke about. Habakkuk 3:16, when I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. The voice of what? The news of these things that will come to pass, right? Because he said, I heard, my belly trembled, meaning famine. My lips quivered at the voice, because there's a great evil coming. Radness entered into my bones, right? In Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 5 and on down, right? Thy wound is incurable and very grievous, right? So we're going to go through particular infirmities, right? And I trembled in myself that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. Now here's the point, verse 17. Although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd. In the stalls, yet I will rejoice in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I will joy in the God of my salvation. Right, so that describes, right, the time of Jacob's trouble, time which has not been since the foundation of the world, right? The herds being cut off, right? Famine, rottenness entering into your bones through the C19, right? You have kill gates pushing certain foods that have spike proteins, right? KNA, right? Maximus Max Juicy Juice that will be put in the food, right? And all these things are right to to be placed as a snare, right? So the Canada wildfire smoke blanketed Washington, D.C., as you can see from here. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 30. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord come. Alright, so you're gonna see great, even greater wonders in the heavens and in the earth. Like the brothers recently brought out, creatures newly created, courtesy of Esau Edom, right, through the Spirit of the Lord, right, which he's gonna put in Esau Edom, right, creatures, right, whether it be robotics, artificial intelligence, or a combination of both, organic and robotic. All right, wonders in the heaven and the earth, right? Miracles, right? Blood and fire, and pillars of smoke. The sun being turned into darkness, right? And the moon into blood, right? Because what happened in Egypt? The waters were turned into blood. Fire, right? You're going to see these ICBM missiles going from continent to continent, pillars of smoke, but it's going to start with wonders in the heavens and in the earth, right? Which is what we're seeing now, right? These things have not happened before. The Lord is, like he said, behold, I create a new thing, right? And before they happen, I tell you of them through his servants, the prophets, right? This is from Andy Nigo. Liberals left stunned as Muslims and Islamists gathered on Tuesday to protest in Montgomery County, Maryland school board over its LGBTQ curriculum. The Muslims want to be able to remove the children from the classroom when that material is taught. What you Mama? And of course, you gotta have a token Jake in there somewhere, right?
Protect our children! Protect our children! Protect our children! Let's fear God! 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 Religious freedom now! 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 Secular schools! 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 Religious freedom now! 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 Protect our children! 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 Protect trans kids! Protect trans kids! Protect trans kids! Protect
Right, so they're all going off, right? You got that Jake right there. You got the nation, you got Esau. It's one big clowns. It's one big circus, right? Where was this happening when Obama was in office, right? We never heard from anybody. We didn't hear from these the good old boys. We didn't hear from the other side, right? But now everybody wants to show face, right? At the most awkward time, the most divisive time. Why? Because this is part of the agenda, right? These modes, they don't look angry, right? They look like they're having fun. Everyone is having fun, right? Nobody's being serious, right? You have the 15-minute cities in China, checkpoints. This is from HealthBot. Dangerous chemicals found in 80% of McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, and Domino's meals. Then you have this augmented reality, this new Apple goggles. You have Bill Gates with his mosquito factories in Colombia. 30 million genetically modified mosquitoes are released every week into 11 countries. Because Bill knows better than nature what could possibly go wrong. Right, that's mental illness. Right? Classical case of a brainwashing. Christianity in a nutshell. Jesus had two dads, and we think that's fabulous. Right? Chinese gait recognition, tech IDs, people by how they walk, gait analysis. Anyway, with that, right, Lord willing, you ratified. This is in the news, June 15th. It's Brother Yatazadaki of Israel. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abad Ball, Shalom, Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride comes before destruction. If you thought 9/11 was bad, just wait for the staged alien invasion. Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahushai. Which is going to happen, a false one, and then the Lord is going to deliver those written in the book of life. Right? So with that, anyways, Shalom, Abad Ball, Shalom.